Yo, what is up, everybody? We are back. We got war number 5 of season 61. This war, we are bringing Shang, Silk, and Wags. I'm going to start on path 5, and then I have path 4 afterwards. This war was an interesting one. We are up against Bolt, which, they've been absolutely killing it this season. And I've got a few friends in Bolt, so it was interesting matching them, but we'll go over how the war went at the end. This war was interesting because I'll just say these first 2 fights I didn't really play that well. But then I kind of locked in towards the end, which is good. So up first, we have Shocker on node 5. Which I'll be taking with Shang-Chi. I have suicides on for these fights, just to make him go down faster, and because I need him for the Void on 22. So I was just like, I think I'll run him for these fights as well. I don't think it's a big deal. For this Shocker, I'm going to do my normal Shocker strats, which is stun him into his block, cleanse, knockdown, or slow knockdown, whatever I feel like. I do have Wags on this fight because I only needed Wags for 1 mini, so I kind of just had 2 to place on whatever fights I wanted. So I chose this one because I can freely parry with Obstinate Charge. And we're going to see, I messed this up pretty early into the fight, actually. I think, right here I'm like, alright, I just need to stun him into his block, knock him down, and I get sidestepped, and I'm like, bruh. And now I want to knock him down, but I feel like I'm getting too close to an SP3. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just throw this SP2 with protection up. It's not a huge deal. Now, though, I'm already back. Almost at my next SP2, so get to it, throw it, and he is cooked. So that was a super unfortunate sidestep. But it's okay. It's just 2 potions. Not a big deal. And then next, we have good old Nick Fury on 14, which I also messed this one up. We'll see in a second. Actually, I don't know where I messed this one up exactly, but I remember it was kind of tragic. It's okay, though. This fight, it is a little easier with tactic, but the general idea is still the same. I want to keep him slowed, and I want to reset my slow strike so I have it back. Super comfortable, perfect parrying Nick Fury. Not so much on a reparry, but in general I am. So I'm already at 7 chi charges, so I'm like, perfect. I just need to get a parry heavy here to take off protection and then go for an SP2. And then I just get walk up intercepted. And I'm like, great, let me go for 5-hit combo and a slow, then reset, and now I'm at an SP3, but it isn't the biggest deal because I'm running suicides. So you can see my basic attacks are doing a lot of damage to him, and he's actually already at 30%. So, it might have even been a legitimate strategy to just go for an SP3 here. Would have been better if I didn't, mess up and get to an SP3, but you can see now I'm at 17 charges, 18, 19. So this SP2 is going to be lethal. One thing I want to make sure is that my slow doesn't get purified by ebb and flow coming back. So that's why right there I didn't go for a slow, because the protection is about to come back. Here, I get it. So I'm like, alright, just throw the heavy Nick. He does. And I go for my SP2, and only the first 2 hits even landed on him, and it killed him. Super chill. Even in that combo, he went for a light ender. I would have been fine, because I would have just cleansed it away, and I would have only taken 2 ticks, so wasn't going to die regardless. But it was still unfortunate. But here, now we're kind of locked in. So, for this Void, especially with the tactic, but even without the tactic, technically the fastest way to do this is with suicides and a PS1. What I'm going to do is Well, what I'm going to do right now is calculate how much energy I need. I think I spent a lot of units this far. I think I spent like 500 in total buying energy refills, mastery swaps, things like that, and setting up a new set of masteries. And yeah, so for this fight, we're popping the PS1. The rotation will be to go cleanse, stun, and then just go for my SP2. But you can see he's going to be weird. He's just going to keep dashing back and not let me parry him. So I'm like, bro, what are we doing? But I get my 4 hits off, get the SP2, and he's dead. So that could have been a 9-second fight, but we'll take 13. Now, definitely need to turn suicides off. You can see I typed it in all caps in the war chat. Because that fucking sucks, bro. I mean, dying to that, especially with APOC, because if you have suicides on, all his specials apply debuffs to you, so he'll just concuss you and everything just because you have suicides on. He'll be permanently unblockable. Super duper L behavior from APOC. But yeah, I'm going to be taking this fight with Silk. Apparently this placement is happening somewhat frequently. And I do think Silk is the best option, as we'll see here, based on how it goes. This is only a rank 3, but it really doesn't matter at all for Silk. We're going to see the plan is, unlike Dust, this guy doesn't put debuffs when you parry him, obviously. So I have pretty good access to parries just to make the start easier. There, he lets me go for a stand-up before he goes unblockable. If he didn't, I would have just dexed the SP1. I did practice it a fair bit, and I also have the auto-evade, which, of course, APOC has a thing where if you evade him, your future evade chance goes down by 10%. But, like, APOC's SP1, if you're messing up the dex, it's probably on the last hit of it. Like, you're dexing a little too late on the first beam. So, the first dex is guaranteed, so you're probably safe on that regardless. So you can see here, just get to my SP2, and unfortunately, the power sting timers kind of misaligned for me, so that's why I didn't finish at like 100% health, but still a super duper easy fight. And Silk just proving to be the GOAT once again. Here, I'm actually taking the Sassy on 37 and not the Nico on 39, because this war we had 2 Silks. We had a rank 3 and a rank 4. I mean the rank 4, obviously. And we kind of talked it over and thought like the Sassy is probably better to send the rank 4 to, because he's just a beefy boy. You want to nuke him down as best as you can. And the Nico, you know, not as terrible. So for this guy, obviously Sassy, if he reverses regenerate, he loses all regens on him. So what that means for Silk is if I go for a heavy, all the regens on him will go away. There you saw I tried to go for a backdraft into my SP2. Didn't work, so we just threw it here, which is totally fine. Get him rooted. Good thing about root with Silk, it means you can get a free extended combo on him. So we throw our SP2 here. He does have 6 charges, so it didn't do that much damage, but not a huge deal. Again, here you can see we go for our heavy, takes all the regens off him. I could have just gone for the kill here if I did a few more hits, but I didn't want to push an SP3 on accident, which in hindsight I should have just done it, but as you can see, not a huge deal. He's already dead. Wow, I ran through that pretty fast. I don't know what the time was on it, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Up next, we have good old 42 Jess, which obviously I will be shanging. As much as I love Silk for this fight so much, with the tactic, it's just not nearly as easy. So, Shang-Chi the GOAT, we're going to use him. This time we're going to be using the no dex, half suicides, no PS1 rotation. I don't know, they don't really have names. This is just the rotation I'm pretty sure Water came up with, or Jelly. All I know is that the 2 of them recommended this to me, so I'm going to give the credit to them. I'm telling myself suicides off after null, but we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, for this fight, no PS1. It is a little bit different. This one's more about just pushing her in SP2s, and if she's an absolute terrible AI, it could go wrong. Like if she just holds on to her specials till your slow runs out, that sucks. But for the most part, it's fine. Like there's a good amount of leeway room. So yeah, we're popping a combat region, turning on the mastery setup, literally called 42 Jess, because yeah, this placement's so stupid. There's a whole mastery setup just for it. So yeah, like I said, no decks, half suicides, so that in the first medium, there's no way for her to go unblockable. There, the start was kind of weird, but it's all good. I think the start kind of threw me off because I'm pretty comfortable perfect parrying her. But there I messed it up. But it's okay, the damage isn't a huge concern here. Get the first SP2. That power sting just did so much damage to me, I was like, okay, Jess is nuking. But totally fine here. Punish that SP2 of hers, get back to my SP2, and she is already dead. So this, I did screenshot this because this is my new PB. The fastest I've ever done in the past is 36 seconds, and now we got 35 seconds. So, improvement. I did lose some more health. That power sting did more damage to me than I really thought it would. I guess it's because she had so many furies at that point that it just hit harder. I don't really know. Not a huge deal. So now on to some fun stuff. We have 46 null. And this is a fight I originally said turn suicides off after this, but the thing with that, well, you're supposed to run half suicides for this, based on the videos Water sent me. Because two suicides, you take a lot of damage, because null, obviously, with his debuffs and despair, he cancels out a lot of your healing. But my half suicide mastery setup right now that I have is with no decks. And honestly, after watching the videos, damage wasn't a huge concern to me. So I felt comfortable just switching to no suicides. And yeah, it'll be totally fine. The plan with this fight is literally just keep him to SP2s. That's your number one focus. That's why we're running a PS1, even though, oftentimes with Shang, you don't want to do a PS1. It's just to get him to SP2. Keep him to SP2s in a better cycle. So at first, we're going to do the same rotation I do for 31 null to keep him to SP2s and don't let him throw an SP1. Unfortunately, with Aspect of Evolution, you can't cycle it twice like you can on that null. So that's why I went for the PS1. First SP2, he's already at 60%. I'm thinking perfect. Here I think I'll go for medium parry to get the inexorable on him. The inexorable, it's just going to let me push him to SP2 faster. I'm going to try not to trigger it as much as I can because obviously giving more power is bad. But if I need to push him to SP2s, then it's actually a help. So here, push him to the last SP2, or so I thought. Go for medium, SP2 on my own. You can see I'm doing my best to get as many perfect X's as possible, just to help with my damage. And here I'm thinking, great, let me just go for 5. Oh no, I didn't do a 5-hit combo. Here I did a 5-hit combo. Medium, and yeah. He's down, 1 minute 23. Super easy fight. I've seen Shothra do it in a minute 12, I believe. Pokecraft, the GOAT, did that with Shothra in a minute 12. But, Shang was pretty easy too. I liked it. And up next, we have 48 Photon, which I will be taking with Silk. If you guys have watched a lot of my videos, I always take this fight with Guardian, but this war was kind of either bring Wags for 42 Jess or bring Guardian for this Photon. And I was in general recommended to just bring the Wags and Silk this instead of Guardian it, so I did just that. The plan for this fight for me is just to focus on clean Bane transfers. This fight takes a minute. It definitely takes a little bit of time, but it's not really a timeout risk. So my goal is more so just keep good Bane transfers and don't take blocked hits, because she hits like a freaking truck. That's the biggest difference between Silk and Guardian for this fight, is that Guardian, he don't take block damage. Silk, let me tell you what, if she's in pure light and you're taking blocked hits, she's going to melt your soul. Here, she's been stingy with the SP1, so I'm taking for Bane. Not a huge deal. Obviously with Silk, you can full dex photon specials even in pure light. That's why she's good for this. That's part of the reason. And yeah, I go for SP1s here mainly because it helps me mitigate block damage. Like me keeping on knocking her down, making her more likely to throw specials, and just in general giving her more power so I don't have to take blocked hits or be in like awkward positions after I finish a combo. It's just what I was comfortable with. You can see it's working out decently well. Each of my SP1s are doing like 7% of her health if I had to estimate. Like here you can see here I'm just trying to bait a heavy without blocking because I know she has 4 Furies. If she hits my block, I'm going to be taking a lot of damage. But now she's out of pure light, so I'm like, perfect. Go back to hitting her again. And this is officially a point in the fight where I don't really have to worry about Bane anymore. Well, no, I shouldn't say I don't have to worry about Bane, but it's not my biggest concern because she only has like 30% now. So the Bane is doing 70% less than what it was at the start of the fight. Not a huge concern of mine. I think at this point I just have to go for a couple more SP1s. Probably going to be like 30 more seconds in the fight, and then she's going to go down. Which, yeah, pretty fun, honestly. I do still think Guardian's better, of course, but totally doable with Silk. It was a fun fight. And yeah, at this point, my only concern is to not get hit while she's in pure light in the last few seconds. Go for this last SP1, and she goes down. So, yeah, pretty terrible start to the war, but I would consider it a pretty clean finish. As for the war itself, we did end up winning this one 10-5. Pretty good war from us to some extent. I think we played well. There were some crazy fights we soloed. Super impressive stuff. GG's to Bolt, of course. I mean, y'all were absolutely killing it this season. And you still are. Good luck in the rest of your matchups. Yeah, this war is interesting because I don't know if you can tell by the sound of my voice, but I am sick. I also have a midterm tomorrow, which is always fun. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'm going to go deal with all that. And hopefully I'll be back on Tuesday, I want to say, with the next video. Should be a fun one as well. So yeah, thank you all for watching again, and goodbye.